Okay, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. So today I will start this lecture 5. So lecture 5 is about uh, session management attack. Yani the attacker, how they can steal the session and how they can exploit this vulnerability and gain access to the website or the other resources. So attacking session management and access control. So these are today's topic of discussion, right? So in this one, session ID or session token, it is a very important piece of information. Yani it is a very important data that you have to store somewhere very safely, very securely during your transactions. Okay, what is this session ID? Session ID is nothing but a string or a combination of characters, a long string, which is generated and it is shared during your communication with the server. So client is interacting with the server. So like this, you are typing username and password in a website browser. Then after you hit the button, it reach the server. So once it is reaching, then server will give you one ID. So that ID is known as your session ID or session token. So it is used to identify a user and its activities. A user and the user activities for throughout the time period he is there visiting that website, right? So now you have logged in as username and password by typing these things. You typed it and send it to the server. So server, see what it will do. It will save the session data in memory. And that ID, the server is sending you back to the client in the form of a cookie. So cookie is a file. So that file contains your session ID, which is stored here on the client computer. Cookie. So दाखिल cookie मौजूद session ID. Who sent this session ID? By the server, right? So they are sending you the session ID in the form of a string and stored in the cookies. Now your ID plus your username, password. Yani the session ID plus username and password is checked in the computer. That is server. In the server side, your session ID plus your user ID and plus your password. Those are compared. Yani the server will authenticate you. Are you the correct user with correct ID and password and session ID? So if all these three things are correct, then successfully you will be logged in. You will be logged in successfully. So this is the series of transactions or the messages you are exchanging between the client machine and the server machine. So why we use this session ID? Why we use this session ID? To identify a user that has logged into the website. So if somebody is getting this ID, then they can hijack your session and they can obtain the permissions or the privileges what you have. Suppose I am an admin. So session ID is generated for me when I log into the website. So that ID, if the attacker comes to know, he can do anything he wants. Understand? So here, see for instance, okay, there is no history in the proxy server. So what I will do here now, for example, I will log in. I will log into, for instance, elearn.utas.edu.om. All of you can see no my screen. Students. Now I logged in, isn't it? Now see here the messages, what is generated here. Okay. See, this is, I successfully logged in now. So before login, can you see now? This is the username and this is the password is, can you see now? This is the username and this is the password, right? So I am logged in. So when I logged in, what happened here? Now see here what happened. It has generated me the session ID. This is my session ID. And where it is stored? It is stored in the cookie. See this information. So the session ID is this one. So it is stored in the form of a cookie. So what I did, I logged into this website. Understand? So if somebody get this ID, then they can hijack my session. They can control whatever they want on the Moodle website. So that is why this session ID is important. So the attacker can attack on this ID. Understand? So session management is the mechanism which is very, very important security concept wise in web applications. So whatever web application you take, any website, any application, so your basic thing for security is to provide. So that means to save this information securely. What is that information? Session ID. So what it will do? It will uniquely identify the user across different requests. So here in the Moodle, what I am doing today, I am logging into your application. I am creating a quiz. I am entering your marks. Okay. I am deleting some students. So these all the activities it is going to track. It is going to save in the cookie. Okay. So uniquely identify a given user across a number of different requests, and it is used to handle the data that is stored within the application. So if the attacker breaks an application session, he or she can bypass the authentication. Yani you are a student, you are hacking this account, then you can modify anything here. You can modify your grades, you can delete your marks, you can delete your quiz, something you can do, isn't it? So that is what the meaning here is telling, that if you are an attacker and you break this session management, then you can take the control of this application, right? So that is the reason. See here, this is the cookie. Some applications will give like this. So here in your Moodle, it is coming like this, right? Are you seeing? Are you watching? So what the application will do? It will give every user a unique token. So hundreds and hundreds of students are logging into this Moodle. So every time you log in, a unique ID is generated for each student or for each teacher. So how they will send the session ID? With the help of cookie. With the help of a cookie. Okay. Then it will record whatever transaction you are doing between the client and the server. Understand? This is clear, students. What is a session ID? Yes or no?
Yes, yes, Mister.
See here how it is working. I have shown to you. So first, whenever you log into the application, a unique session ID is created. So this session ID will be attacked. So that is the target for the attacker. Why? To hijack your session. Then he can become an admin or he can become a teacher, any role he can play. And the attacker can access any data, private data, on behalf of the person who has logged in. And if the user is not authenticated, the attacker is still able to see the information submitted by the user during the session. So using this tool, see, I can see what is the session ID. Also, I can see the, what do you call, username and password. So I have shown to you that also is visible. See here, this is the cookie. This is going to store the session ID. Understand? So that you need to protect it. So if you don't protect, what will happen? Look here. So if there is a vulnerability exist in the session, so two types of things, two types of categories are there here. See, weakness in the generation of session tokens. Yani your application is not generating the session token properly, and weakness in handling the session token. Your application is not properly handling the sessions when the user is logged in, or when the user is logged in and log out. During this period, your application is not handling your session, right? See here, this picture is showing you whenever the attack is happening here. See, the attack is happening. What the attacker will do, he will try to find the weakness. Where is the weakness in the session? If your application is having the improper management of sessions, or sessions are generated very weakly, then they can take the control of that and it will result in the impact. What is the result? Business means you will lose money if it is a bank application.
Mister, we cannot hear your voice.
Can you see now?
Okay, now.
Now see here, this is the HTML tag, no? See, this is the HTML tag. Input type is equal to text or something you will give like this, no? So here the type is hidden, yani it will not be visible to the user on the web page, but it will store your username and send it to the server without the user's idea, without the user's information. So this is what called hidden form field. So you are sending the data without showing it on the web page. Okay, hidden form fields are carrying your data without displaying it to the user. So that is what here, this one like this, type is equal to hidden. So that is the weakness. You should not send like that. Tokens are placed in the hidden form fields. One weakness. Another weakness is password recovery email. Yani for the recovering the password, the token ID should not be sent in your email. Number two. Number three, give tokens used to give one-time access to protected resources. And number four is, I told you in the last class, remember me. So don't use this method. Don't use this method to save your user ID password in the applications. Remember me option. Remember me in login screen. See this one. Don't use this one. Remember me. If you use this, your user ID, your password will be saved. So that is one of the weakness here. So tokens you should not store if you select this option. And the tokens allowing customers on the shopping applications that do not use authentication to retrieve the status of your existing order. You buy something on the Amazon.com or on the Lulu.com. You are not authenticating the status. Yani, just type your ID of the order. You will tell the status. You should not do like that. Who are you? What is your email ID? What is your session ID? Those things you need to take from the user to validate you authenticate the user on the shopping status or the order status of your items you purchased. So these are all the weaknesses now. These are all, what are these things? These are the weakness in token generation. Don't send the token in the email. Don't send the token in the hidden form fields. Don't send the token in the form of like one-time access. Don't save the tokens in Remember Me. And tokens, when you are sending, you should authenticate. If you do not authenticate, then that means there is a weakness. Understand? So the question may come like this. What are the weaknesses? Okay. Explain or list out the weaknesses in token generation during session management. So you can write these answers. You can write these answers. So do not send the session ID in the password recovery as an email address in the email address. Don't store it in the hidden form fields. Don't give one-time access. Don't save in the remember me. And don't unauthenticate the user. So you have to take all these appropriate measures. This is the first weakness. First one. Number two, we will see now. Number two, okay, still we are in the first one. So, and again, the weakness in the token generation, there are these four types. Do not generate a meaningful token. Number one. Number two, do not generate a token which is predictable, yani easily guessing. Do not generate the concealed sequences. Any token is generating, but in the form of a sequence, and time dependency is not there, and randomly you are generating. These are all the weaknesses in generation of a token. So you have seen here that token generation, this is the token generated. This is the token. This is a token generated. You should follow uh, or you should take care of these weaknesses. It should not be meaningful. It should not be easily predictable. It should not be in a sequential manner. It should not be generated in a sequence. It should not be generated in a time limit, or it should not be generated randomly. So we will see what are these five things one by one. Now, first one is, see this one. Meaningful token. So your application is generating a token like this. Then it is easily decoded using a tools like Burp Suite or any other sniffing tools or packet analyzing tools. Okay, let us see this one. See, session tokens are created in a simple manner, simple method, which contains the username or email address of that person. For example, this one, username is this one, guys, ID is 12. What is the role of that user is admin. Now in the this thing, I will take this one, okay? I will copy this, go to your Burp Suite. There is a decoder here. There is a decoder. Uh, okay. Now, can you see decoder? I am going to paste that one, right? What I have taken, this is the session ID. This is the token you have generated. Imagine this is a token that you have generated in the web application. Now the hacker or the attacker can, where is that? This one. Decode that to normal HTML code. Decode as base 64. Can you see now? What is this meaning of this token is username is guys, ID is 12, role is admin. So like this, if you generate, this is a very weak token. So always it is advisable to generate a token which is very long, random string and very strong. You should use some strong algorithm to generate a session token or ID. So if you are weakly generating like this, meaningful session token, then this is the result. Have you seen this one, students? Have you seen this one, students? decode as base 64 or HTML or plain. Yeah, this is the hexadecimal code for this one. Okay. Like this. So the attacker can decode like this. So the summary of this one is what? You should not generate the token which is meaningful, which is understandable. Okay, some strong mechanism you need to use. Are you following, students, everyone? Safa,
Yes.
Sara, Marwa, Muhammad, Sheikha, girls, are you following? Students, Asma, Matar, are you following, all of you? So I show you this decoding, how to do the decoding. So when the session ID is generated, so you have taken the session ID, for example, this one, and then you have done decoding. So this is the way how the attacker can steal that information, and he can decode your token to understand the pattern, what style you are using here. So first thing is you should not generate meaningful token. If you generate a meaningful token, then there is a weakness in your application. There is a weakness in your application. Number one, right? Number two, what is number two? Predictable tokens. So don't generate the token which is having a prediction, yani sequence here. Some sessions do not contain any meaningful data of the user, but they can be guessed because they contain some sequence. They contain a sequence or a pattern that allows the attacker to extrapolate from a sample of tokens. Now you can see here, these are some tokens here. You can see here, what is the observation of yours from these tokens? What do you see here? Is there any vulnerability in this token, students? Tell me. Check, is there any vulnerability in these tokens? These are the set of tokens. Imagine you have generated from the application these tokens. So is there any vulnerability? Do you
Yes,
see any
Mr.
vulnerability? What is
Yes.
that?
All same, but last thing it changed.
Very good. See here, only in the last it is changing. Last two digits or the last digit is changing here. Last number, this one. So that means you are following some sequence. Even see when you're the application of our college, they generate student ID. You can see the all student IDs, how they are generated. So they contains what? They contain some style, they contain some pattern. So you should not follow such type of mechanism. Understand? You should not follow such type of mechanism. Happened, there is no internet or what? Okay, and I think the system is down. You can see your student IDs also. Student IDs are having some vulnerability. Always they generate like this, for example, like 2021 49 3010. The next student, this is Muhammad. Okay, maybe example. Then 2021, okay, 49 3011. Safa. Okay, 2021 49 3012. Okay, Marwa. So like this, if you are generating, that means there is a vulnerability here. Anybody can use this ID and try to guess your password and log in into your application. Understand? So same for the teacher ID also. See here, they will say like Sur 3532. This is my ID. Okay. Maybe another teacher like 3533. Maybe like Gaurav. Okay. Sur 3536. Maybe like Ramkumar. So they should not generate like this. So if they generate like this, that means there is a vulnerability in the token. Right. So this is the way how you are going to find the vulnerability in the token. So let me try this one. Sequencer. Go here. I think we need to see here. You can load the file here and you can see what is a sequence here. This is a sequencer. So you can load or paste. Yeah. Analyze. There is a lab here. When you see the lab, you follow the steps, then you can see here what are the tokens and how you have find the vulnerability. It is there in the lab. So we will see that later. Okay, so second option is this one. First, don't generate the meaningful token. Don't generate predictable tokens. Number three is also same like the second one, but see the example. This is number three. Concealed, yani hidden, concealed sequences. So it is common to encounter the tokens that cannot be easily predicted when analyzed in raw form, but it may contain some sequence. Now see here, this one, by seeing this, it seems like it's a strong one, strong token. But when you analyze it properly, when you decode it or unpack it, now you can see here, see what is changing here. Only these all tokens are generated in the form of a sequence. 97 FF97C4. FF97C4, right? FF97C4. After that, you have some code. So this is also hidden or concealed sequences. In this way also, we should not generate a session token. Understand, students? Example here. See, concealed tokens, concealed how you are going to prepare is you follow certain algorithm. Yani, like you have SHA 256 algorithm or any other RSA algorithm to generate some tokens. So algorithm is used to generate the token. To that token, you are adding this value, some hexadecimal value. To this, you are adding this value, right? This is what this one ID or token. So to that token, you are adding this number. Then you are going to truncate the result to 32-bit number. Yani you are translating this to 32-bit number. Then you will get some token. Then after that, again, you are converting that into base 64 format. Then finally, you will receive one token. So that token is transported via your protocol. So this is the process of generating concealed sequences when you use some algorithm. So this is the method, my method. Always I am taking the ID, adding this number, then truncating it to 32-bit and also converting it into base 64 format. So this is my idea. This is my tarika to generate a token. So the attacker can identify this by analyzing the token, he can identify this one. You can convert that into this one base 64, then ASCII, then it will be generated in this form. This is one token. This is another token. This is another token. Okay, number 3 is concealed token. Number 4, time dependency. Don't generate the token based on the time. Some applications, what they will do, they will see what time you're logging in. Based on that, they will generate the token like this. This is very risky, insecure. See here, this number is nothing but this number is nothing but your time of logging in. Now see here, timestamp. When you put this in this and convert it, it will give you like this: Thursday, 1st March 2007. At this time you logged in. Okay. Where are you? In which location you are? That also we can see. So the attacker can predict your user token. So some applications, they will generate like this tokens based on the time. So don't do that mistake. So this mistake don't do, don't depend on time, right? Don't generate the sequential algorithm process. Don't generate easily guessable tokens. Don't generate meaningful tokens. Last one is what? Weak random number generation. Okay. Don't use random number generation technique. In Python, in Java, you have a method like random number generation. Don't use that to generate your session ID or the session token. So attacker can predict that session ID. Right? So randomness is required for some purpose. Use various techniques to generate the number. So these are the weaknesses in your token generation. Number 1, we completed this number 1. What is that? This one. Yep. This one. Now I discussed to you. This one is completed now. Now handling the session, the second part. session handling weaknesses. Weakness in handling the session. So don't disclose the token on the network. Yani, don't send this type of sensitive information through the network channel. Don't disclose this in the log files. Yani, don't save in the log files. Don't terminate the session improperly. Vulnerable session termination. Client exposure to token hijacking. So these are all what weakness in handling the sessions. Weakness in handling the session. Now let us see one by one. Number one is session token. You are sending it on the network. How? Using this protocol. What is the protocol you are using? HTTP or HTTPS. So if you use HTTPS, it's okay. But sometimes what will happen is to authenticate, yani to check your user ID and password. Initially, I am using HTTPS, but once you log in successfully, after that the protocol is changed to HTTP. Then it will be very dangerous. So some applications use this type of technique. What they will do is only for the login page, they provide the certificate SSL. Once you logged in, then your protocol you can see in the browser HTTP. That is very, very, very dangerous. So the tokens can be hijacked by the attacker. Right? That is what they are telling here. See, some applications select HTTPS protocol to protect the user credentials during the login, but they will revert it back to HTTP for the remaining session. You should not do like this, no? It's very, very dangerous. So when you're logging in Amazon, Alibaba Express, only at the time of login, you are going to validate the user. It's not the correct way. You should use the HTTPS certificate, valid certificate throughout the sequence of transactions. So once the user log in, until he or she log out, you have to validate that session by using this protocol HTTPS. So if it is not HTTPS, don't send, don't disclose. It is one of the weakness. Number one. Number one, this one. Number two, no. So every web application, no, what it will do, whenever you start the server, it will generate a file called log files. Log file means a small text file which contains the details, the timestamp. So today morning I opened my computer, what time I logged in, okay, which program I accessed, which page I accessed, what I purchased. Everything you are going to write in the browser's log or the web server log or the server proxy server logs. Logs that are stored on the server, logs that are stored on the web server, logs that are stored in the user browser. So three types of logs. So what is the summary here is don't save the session ID in any type of log files. You should not save in the log files. Don't disclose them in the log files. That is the meaning, what I am trying to say. Understand? So when you start application, session ID is generated, but don't save that in the log files. Maybe the log file is in the user browser. Maybe the log file is in the web server, or maybe the log file in the company's proxy server. It is very dangerous. If somebody insider attack happens, or some persons who are not very genuine, they can go to your proxy server, they can see in the log files. They can search the log files and they can come to know your token ID. So when they take the token ID, then it is very dangerous. They can take the control of your application. Understand? So number 2 or 3, this one, 2. So first one is don't send it on the network, and second one is don't save it in the log files. Number 3 is vulnerable session termination. Okay, vulnerable session termination. What is this one? See, proper termination of the session is needed. Now I logged in to the Moodle, no? Where here I logged in. Now still see my session is valid here. So if I keep the session open like this, okay. For example, now my system is hanged. My system laptop is hanged, but session ID is generated here, no? This is the session ID. What is generated here for me? Where is that? This one, this session ID. So if somebody comes and take it from the log file or from the proxy server, they can hijack my session. So if the power is gone, or if I am unable to use this page or computer, then you should invalidate that session ID. You should invalidate the session ID. Yani you should kill that session. If you keep it open, then it is dangerable. It is vulnerable to attack. So that is the meaning here. Terminating unsafe termination is very risky. So vulnerable session termination. Understand what I am trying to say? So that is the reason you need to put some time limit. Keeping the lifespan of the session is short as necessary. So whenever you go to Sims, okay, when you access the Sims, no, and keep it for some time, that page. For example, I log in. Okay, I log in. Right now, we will see after 2 minutes or something like that. Then you will see the message, your session is expired. Something like this. See somewhere. Now see, your session is timed out. Please log in again. This is the good way of handling the session. So your session should be terminated properly. If I am keeping it idle for a long time, then the web application is invalidating my session. So it will reduce the risk of attacks. So attacker, if you keep it open, he can get the time to capture your ID, guess the ID, misuse that ID. That is the reason we need to invalidate. See, if you're no longer active, then better to invalidate the session. Yani you are not using that page for a long time, then always it is better to invalidate the session. Understand? So now let us see their Sims still. We will use this after 2 minutes or 5 minutes, maybe they increased. So this is what the meaning here. Improper Suppose, for example, like this, there is a power down, power cut. I log into the Bank Muscat website. Session ID is generated properly. Power is gone. In the middle of my transaction, power is gone. So what do you think next time when I log in, the application will work with the same session ID? Tell me, students. What I am trying to say is you logged in. You logged into Bank Muscat application, online application or app or online website. Now you are sending money. You are sending money. Suddenly electricity is shut down. Suddenly the network is down. So once you logged in, you are having one valid session ID, which is generated by the server or application. So when the power is gone, then what should happen to this ID? The application should invalidate the session ID. Understand? Application should make the ID invalid because the power is gone now. When the power is there, then again you have to regenerate the session ID. When the power come back, you have to generate the session ID, new session ID. So this is the safe mechanism. So if your application is not doing like that, that means there is a vulnerability if you are not invalidating. Understand, students? Now see, your page will expire in 2 minutes. Click OK to prevent. This is the message it is given by this application to handle the session. So this is the good practice. So this is what you have. Number 3. Last one is client exposure to token hijacking. Okay, and see here, one more way of terminating a session is logout option. Every application is having, see now my session is expired. Every application is having one, what do you call, logout feature. See here, logout. Yani whenever I log out, my session ID is invalidated. You understand? Now I log out. Yani I am safe. My ID is not saved anywhere. It is invalidated by the web server or the web application. So even if the attacker knows my ID, he cannot use it now because already the session is invalidated. Already the session is invalidated. See here, I will show you here. Go to this one, see history. I will delete all these things. Right? So what we will do now, I will log in here. Okay. I logged into the e-learn Moodle. Successfully logged in. Go to the burp suite. Now you can see here. Okay. See here, this is the session ID, which is stored in the cookie. This is my Moodle session ID now, right? Now, after that, what I will do, I will log out. Successfully log out. Now go there, here, log out. Okay, log out. Now see here, this is the way of logging, invalidating the session ID. The server has invalidated by using this, by sending it in the set cookie format. Yani, now see here, the ID is changed. That means this is the ID which is invalid now. The session has created a new for me by the website. Now it is very secure. So that is what here they are saying here. Logout function is, if your application is not having, that means it's vulnerable. Every application, whatever you take, Instagram, Facebook, Gmail, okay, or Twitter, or your Moodle, or your advising system, every application will have a logout functionality. Why they keep it is to terminate the session, to end the session. In some cases, if the logout function does not invalidate your session, then the server will remove the token from the browser in the form of a set cookie. Server will send a set cookie. How? This I have shown you just now. See here, this one. Whenever I log out from the Moodle, it is sending me this cookie. And there, the new session is generated here. The previous session is invalidated. Right? So this is the way how the session has to be terminated. So logging out is another way of invalidating the session. So vulnerable session termination, if it is there, then that means your session ID is in danger. Last one, client exposure to token hijacking. Last vulnerability is the attacker can target the other users of the application in an attempt to capture the session ID or misuse the victim session ID in various ways. One is XSS attack, cross-site scripting attack. What they will do, they will inject some malicious code. This one. They inject some virus or some type of malicious program into the server. Now this is you. You are the victim now. You are, this is my cursor. Yeah. This is you. So you don't know about this injection. What you will do, you will type your user ID password and you will be authenticated on the server. Then the server will send you the session ID. So that session ID is passed to the attacker. Then the attacker can hijack your session. He can take control of your session. Because he's targeting your cookies. He's targeting here your user cookies to get the token of the session. So this is called client exposure to token hijacking. Yani the attacker is hijacking your token by injecting some script in the server. So this is your server. In this server, he is passing some malicious data, malicious program. So what is this XSS? We will see in the last lecture, I think. Understand? So this is the number 4th weakness, client exposure to hijacking. See, if you various other attacks, users can use to hijack the session is this one, session fixation or CSRF attack. So with this type of attack, he can modify the request. He can craft your request to gain access to your data or information. So attacker is feeding a known session token to the user. So this is known as token hijacking. Token hijacking. I will show you this in the lab session. So now what we have studied now, weaknesses in session handling. What are they? This one. Don't store the information on the network. Don't store the ID in the log files. And terminate the session ID properly. And don't expose the token to the attacker. So this is the way how you should handle safely token. Previously, what I said, weakness in generating the tokens. Yani you generate the token, but very strong, not meaningful token, not predictable token, not concealed, not in the form of time, not in the form of random. So these are the two basic things that you should keep in mind. Weakness in generation and weakness in session handling. So list down or explain the session token handling methods means you can write this answer. Explain means you have to explain these things. Understand, students? So what we are telling here now, I told you first what? Session. What is a session? Session ID. Okay. Then I told you what? Weakness. Weakness in token generation. Next one, what I told you? Weakness in token handling. Right? Session token handling. So what here you studied now? You studied now here 4 different things. Okay. What are they? This one. Okay. Next, what you have learned. This is for this one. Right. And for this one, you have again this 4. What are they? Don't disclose the session ID on the network or on the log files, right? Understand now, students? So today I discussed this only for you. Are you watching? Students? Okay. Now the last topic here, see client exposure to hijacking. I will continue. So this is CSRF through XSS attacks, they can hijack. Now access control. So control, access control or authorization. This is called authorization. Before we have seen authentication. This is authorization. Application or who are you? Application of constraints on who can perform attempt action or what action you can perform. That will be decided. So if the session ID is weak, this process can be hijacked. So broken access controls are commonly encountered and often critical vulnerability. So this is the first in the top among the OWASP top 10 list of vulnerabilities. So you have OWASP, Open Web Application Security. This one, in that one, you have 10 list of items, 10 list of vulnerabilities. Under that, this is the topmost one, broken access control. So managing the access control is a complex and dynamic problem for all your business, your organization, and legal constraints to your technical implementation. So we have to take the decision of access control made by humans, not technology, and potentials for errors is very high. So if you take care of if you allow these things to take care of by the technology, then many errors may happen. So you should control as a human. How? Number one, see here, broken access control vulnerability exists. The user can in effect accessing some source or perform some action which they are not supposed to perform. Students are not supposed to delete the marks. Students are not supposed to enter the marks. They can just see the marks. So if the student is able to delete the marks, that means there is a broken access control vulnerability in the Moodle website or in the SIS website or in the SIMS website. Understand, that is what called broken access controllable. Who can delete the marks? Who can change the marks? Teacher. So teacher is having the permission, not the student. So if the student is performing that action, that means there is a vulnerability. There is what type of vulnerability? Broken access control vulnerability. So these access controls, how you can protect them. So these are divided into three categories again. One is vertical access control. Vertical means from in the form of like this, top to bottom or bottom to top. This is vertical. Okay, vertical. Horizontal means like this. Number two, this one. Horizontal access control. Okay. Another one is last one, context dependent access control that I will discuss later. Now vertical means like, see here you have users, different users, admin. Okay. Here you have like student. Here you have like teacher. Here you have like head of the department. So levels, this is level. See, student is at the level, 0 level. Teacher is at the first level. HOD is at the second level. Top level is this one. So vertical, you are moving from bottom to top or from top to bottom. This is known as this vertical axis. So can the student access the teacher ID, or can the student access the head of the department ID? No. But if you know the session ID or the authentication is very weak, then the student can become the teacher, or the student can become the administrator or the head of the department and take the control of the application. That is called broken access control. Okay. Horizontal means you are in the same level. For example, like student 1, student 2, student 3, etc. So student 1 mark can be seen by only student 1 only. So if student 2 cannot see the marks of student 1. So if this is happening, that means there is a broken access control in the horizontal level. So this is horizontal level. You understand the difference now between vertical axis and horizontal axis. So vertical axis is that one only here. See example here, administrator might not be able to modify or delete user account, while ordinary user has no access to these actions. See, administrator can modify or delete the user account, but not opposite, because the user do not have the permission to delete the admin's account or their self account. Are you getting, students? Are you listening to me? Are you understanding? This is vertical access control I am explaining. So that is the reason we have to implement the policies, privileges. So admin is having some privileges. Read, write, execute. HOD is having some privileges, right? Teacher is having some privileges. Student is having some privileges like read only, read, write. Maybe here read, write, and execute. Read, write, execute. Right? So this is the vertical access control. Now, what is this vertical access control? I tell you here. I will show you here. Meaning means what? You are putting some limitations on the privilege levels. Normal user should not be able to access admin pages. So if it is so, that means broken access control is a vulnerability existing. So normal user can become the administrator. That is the risk here in the vertical axis. Next one is horizontal access. Horizontal access means what? You are preventing the user from accessing the other user's data at the same level. So I told you that Safa cannot see the marks of Sarah, or Sarah cannot see the marks of Safa. Safa is also a student. Sarah is also a student. But each of them, they cannot see their own, their uh, each other marks. They can see their own marks, But if this is happening, Sarah can see the mark of Safa, Safa can see the mark of Sarah. That means there is a broken access control. There is a vulnerability. So they can change the marks here. This is called horizontal access control. Now the last one is context dependent access control. Yani you are enforcing the limits based on specific conditions. See example, bank application allow money transfers only if you are logged in from a trusted device. So you use your soft token or hot token or a USB token to log into the bank application, then only you can send the money. If you are using some untrusted device or untrusted mode of thing to log in, you are not able to send the money. So if you are sending the money through untrusted device means broken access is there. So this is called context dependent access control. So three types of access controls are there. What are they? Vertical access control, horizontal access control, and context dependence access control. This one, where is it? This access control. I am talking about this one. Understand, students? Access control, how many three types are there? So that is what here explained in your slides here. Vertical access control, this one, unprotected functionality like this. See here example, admin, some website like facebook.com/admin. So you should not have like this. You should not have the URL like this for admin different, for user different. This is easily seen by anybody here. Anybody can see this information. So you should not disclose the URL of administrator. Otherwise, this attack can happen, brute force attack. They can steal the information. Next one, parameter based access control method. Like this, you should not use in your web application. Admin is equal to true or admin is equal to false. Like this, you should not pass. What are these things? These are nothing but parameters. So parameter key and value. Role is equal to 1. Role is equal to 2. So your URL should not have like this. Don't send the parameters like this in your URL. So if you send like this, your application is doing like this means there is a big vulnerability. Understand? Horizontal access control. I told you now what it is. See here, a banking application will allow a user to view transactions and make payments from their own accounts, not from the other user accounts. Yani you can see your own marks. You cannot see the marks of the other student. So you are in the same level. Horizontal means same, right? So if this is, now see here, in your application, you have like this one ID is equal to 123. So instead of this, I can put like this, no, 2020 student registration number, 2020 49 3010. Okay, Muhammad account like this. Next, I want to see what are the marks of Safa. So 2020 49 3011. So what is this? This is the vulnerability. This is the vulnerability. You should not give like this. In your application, you should not show like this. So this is what called this horizontal broken access control. The last one, referrer based access control. See, in the request headers, HTTP request headers, you will get this ID, referrer, referrer ID, referrer. So it shows that the request is coming from which page, yani from where your request is coming. So by seeing that, we can identify whether the request is coming from a genuine location or from the fake location. So if the referrer ID contains admin URL, then your request is allowed. If the referrer ID does not contain the admin URL, then you cannot delete the marks. You cannot view the marks. So that's why the referrer header is important. So every in the HTTP header, you can see here, referrer will be there here. See here, referrer. So this means my web page, when I logged in, see, this is coming from elearn.utahs.edu.om. So which is a valid website. Which is a valid website. So that is what here trying to say, trying to explain here. The referrer header is added to the browser, and suppose the application robustly enforce access control to main administrative page, it will come like this /admin there. In that referrer ID, you can see /admin. Now here you can see this one, my courses here, coming from Utah's elearn utahs.edu.om. Understand? Now, last one, I told you context dependent access control. So for example, any website, it prevents the users from modifying the content of the shopping cart after you make the payment. So once you pay the money, then the user cannot modify. He cannot delete the item or he cannot add the item once the transaction is complete. Transaction is complete, then you can start a new transaction. To the existing transaction, you cannot modify. This is called context dependent access control. You are restricting the access to the functionality. So you buy 3 items and you say that payment, click payment. Then after that, you enter the account credit card number, the PIN number. Khalas. After that, again, you cannot change or revert back your items to buy. Right? This is the context dependent access control. So these all things I have put here. This one. Vertical, horizontal, context based with example, and what is a vulnerability and what is the uh, risk if this type of vulnerability is happening. Okay, so what access controls are 3 here, that also we discussed here. Access controls. How many? And what are they? Horizontal access control. Another one is vertical access control and context dependent access control, context dependency, right? So these three are the things here. Context dependent or constant dependent only we'll put. So this is your lecture 5 on what we study today. We will see lab next class. Okay, we'll see the lab and we can practice. But next class you have the exam, I think, no? Mid exam is there, no? Monday. Are you with me, students? Are you listening? Have you listened to the lecture what I taught today? All are in the mute mode. Hello? All are sleeping or active?
Yes, Mr. Yes.
Yes, you are telling, but I don't know what you are doing. The mobile, you kept it on mute. Girls are not at all talking. Safa, Sarah, Rahaf. Sarah initially, yeah, she's here. So you have any questions here, students, in this lecture regarding this session management? Students, hello. Answer your attendance, at least for your attendance you will answer, or you will keep quiet for attendance.
Mr. I think white, all students.
Asma, Asma is there.
Yes.
Haura, Matar,
Yes, teacher.
okay, Matar Al Harthi,
Yes.
Matar Al Salti, Marwa, Marwa मौजूद, Marwa, Muhammad Amer is मौजूद, Rahaf, Rahaf,
Yes.
Safa, Safa,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes, Mr.
Sheikha, Al-Mamariya, मौजूद शेखा, शेखा अल रासपी मौजूद,
Sir.
okay students, so if you want I will put this recording in the Moodle. Also we will do the lab in the next class. Next class exam is there, you prepare well for the exam. I will put in the Moodle some sample questions, but that is just to give you some idea what type of question, okay, not the this thing that it will come in the exam or not, right? So I will end the session here. If you have any questions, please ask me. Otherwise, I will end. Any questions, any doubts?
Mister,
Hmm.
where we can find the question you show us in the last class?
I will put it in the Moodle. I did not put. For tutorial lecture 3 and 4, I will put.
Okay.
Okay, then you study well. We'll meet inshallah next week. Okay.